Hello, and thank you for joining the Center and the Law's Spotlight Conversation series, where we talk about topics on health and justice and law with guests. I'm Jennifer, and I'm a student coordinator this semester. Today, our Spotlight conversation will focus around the topic of immigrant and refugee health and justice and law. A conversation series where we talk about topics on. Our conversation today will be with Cindy McLane. Thank you for joining us. Is there anything you want to let us know before we start or continue?
Well, I just wanted to thank you for having me, and of course for the center for having me. Um, and I just want to get started to see what we can talk about.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. So, I've asked you to come and join me because you've done work with immigrant and refugees, which it's so amazing, I think. Can you tell us about the work that you've done?
Yes. For example, personally, my parents were migrant workers. So that's how I ended up in Minnesota, of all places. Um,
Mhm.
and then, of course, with my previous employment and my current employment, for example, my previous employment, I worked at an interpreting company, which we helped out immigrants trying to translate documents into their native language. Of course, translating other government documents for businesses, which would be distributed to migrant or immigrant communities that were not able to have those documents. And then currently, I am a legal assistant helping out in a law firm which focuses majority of its clientele in the Latino organizations.
Yeah, that's awesome. And how did um so I think, yeah, this connects so much with the Center for Justice and Law. Right now, our series topic is immigrant and refugee health. And you brought up your personal experience, which is awesome. Um, yeah, that goes on. And then how long have you been working there? That was something I was interested in, knowing how long you've, because I know how old you are as well. How long did you stay with these employments, and how did you choose to work with them?
With my previous employer, for example, I worked there for, I want to say, 4 years. But I decided to work there just because of my background and, of course, that I speak Spanish fluently and I write it fluently. So I wanted to do something where, I could apply my skill to and, of course, help out the community. And then with my current employer, well, I wanted to get some experience as I want to become a lawyer later on in my life. And then, of course, just my background, of course, of being a Latina, speaking Spanish. I think Latinos in the justice field, in the legal field, are very underserved. There needs to be a lot more people that speak Spanish. There's a lot of clients that just do not know where to go to, for example. And like I explained to you, I think in our previous messages,
Hmm.
for example, we have clients that would have never known that they had the right to file for a claim just because they don't speak Spanish or.
That, yeah, I remember reading your bio, and you said how it was super I think I looked up the statistic to see how underrepresented Latina or just Latino lawyers were, and it was like 5%, and that's definitely such a small margin. And I another question I had with that is because I heard this from someone else. How early on did you know you wanted to become a lawyer?
Um, I think I wanted to become a lawyer Well, first of all, my parents would used to say, "Oh, she likes to argue. She's gonna be a lawyer later." um, but I think I decided to be a lawyer maybe mid high school, but then I was unsure. And as you know, I'm a transfer student to Hamline, so I have my associate's degree. But within doing my associate's degree, I was just kind of looking around to what do I really want to do with my life. Um, but the field of the law just comes naturally to me, I think. And then, of course, trying to, be there for the community, and as well be a role model for other Latinas on campus, for example, that ask me questions like, how do you get a job at a law firm? And how do you do this? And how do you do that? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's super exciting. I know you were talking about getting your new job, and I thought that was so amazing. And I do understand like being even like a role model for others because of your age and whatnot. I think next, I was wondering, oh, I guess you had your journey with education. I actually did not know you had an associate's degree, but how has that kind of shaped your education? And I think, did you say you have a paralegal certificate?
I do not have a paralegal certificate yet,
Okay.
but
Mm-hmm.
I have an associate's degree, um, which has helped me with achieving my paralegal certification. And of course, it adds on to my educational history, which I know firms like to see, for example, like you've gone to school and what your merit is. But honestly, I always tell people if you want to, you have to start somewhere.
Uh, that is awesome. Yeah, I think I'm
Oh,
trying
and
to think
also
now. Oh,
another tip. Sorry to interrupt you,
no, no,
but
no, go for it.
um, but just not being afraid. I know being underrepresented in a lot of fields, Latinos, we're scared to, to apply to jobs or to do new experiences where, we're not there. But it just going out there and trying, it never hurts to try. I got my new job simply by just applying, and I have no connections, nothing, just simply going out and expecting the worst, but I got the best.
Yeah, no, that is so awesome. And again, congratulations. I think I remember. Do you know what type of like in your future, your career, do you know what type of law you want to go into or who you want to help specifically?
Specifically, I want to work with, of course, the Latino population, but more, I guess, more into women and children. I think those are two of the populations that really need um, like legal representation the most. As I want to, I don't know, I'm on the fence about either criminal or other areas of the law.
That's awesome. And again, you have time to figure that out. Um, do you know how COVID like affected your employment and did you see more cases during COVID, less cases during COVID? Like how did COVID play a role with your experiences?
With my experiences, I think with COVID, they really went down since I mean a lot of people are afraid of catching COVID. So not a lot of people are out there seeking, legal representation at the moment, or in my previous job, getting their documents translated. So I know some people would say like, oh, it's not that important, or it's not worth catching COVID for. but yeah.
Yeah, okay. Uh, did you do remote work or I'm guessing you did remote work. Is that true during COVID?
Yeah, so I did mostly remote work during COVID, but there were times that I did have to go into the office. But for example, we had COVID regulations, but I really liked being at home.
Okay. Yeah. Are there, so I don't know if you can disclose this word, but maybe you can take this a different direction, but are there any organizations or resources you would like to share with the audience or that we can boost for you? I don't know if you yeah, I don't know if there's anything that comes up off the top of your head.
Oh, that's a really good question, Jenny. uh, I do not think so. I think, for example, the work that the Center for Justice does at Hamline is a good organization, um, as well as Legal Aid for Hennepin and Ramsey County. Um, those are, that's all I can
Okay.
think of right now.
Yeah, no worries. I think otherwise, I think you touched on like this fear and how we shouldn't be afraid. Is there any more advice on that end that you would give someone?
Um, in regards to applying to get a legal job.
Uh, yes, but also I was thinking like seeking help.
Okay. In seeking help, I guess, for example, we had a client who did not know that they could, you know, seek out legal representation, and as well receive benefits while they were injured. But I feel like because of this fear of, being deported or being reported to, law enforcement or whatever agency, um, I think that really makes it a huge barrier for a lot of people, in order to, to get help medically and to receive benefits while, because you get hurt, you need to pay your bills somehow. You need to pay, you know. But there is a lot of fear in the migrant immigrant population, that
Yeah.
they just simply don't seek out legal representation, because of that fear. But um, I think a lot of people don't know that they can, and also that there are benefits that you do receive if you do, file a claim.
Yeah, definitely. I'm thinking because I honestly didn't think you would touch on anything like health related, but I'm hearing that you injuries and like health related medical that
Mhm.
is being you are touching on that. Do you know what like if there's a percentage of cases that you had received that were related to health versus maybe law, or did you receive any like other cases like that? Or yeah.
Um, well, the field that I'm working in currently, we do focus majority on like personal injury claims. So that focuses a lot on the medical field, um, but it really intersects with the legal field, of course. So I think that's what the fear comes with. A lot of migrants slash immigrants, when they hear law or legal, it means like law enforcement to them. But no, no, no. um, it's getting legal help, for example, to get medical help, that they might not know that they deserve, and they need.
Yeah, no, it's a basic like would you can a basic need.
Yes, I think it's a basic need, for a lot of people, and I wish more organizations would reach out to migrant immigrant populations and try to explain to them that they also have a right for legal representation. And it's not just for citizens.
Hmm. That is good to know. I think a lot of people don't know that. Or there's do you think there's like maybe lack of education on that end?
Um, I think yes, like you said, there is a lack of education on that end. I think because also, we're underrepresented. You
Mm.
don't know if this lawyer is gonna speak for you, or um, yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to
Okay. Yeah. If you, I think I might have touched on this, but if you could leave like this conversation with an anecdote or a message about the topic, what would it be, or what would you want people to know about today's like discussion of like health, justice, law, advocacy?
Um, I think that we need to begin to advocate for everyone. Um, Despite, like some people might be able to speak English, some people might not be able to um, move a certain way. But I think advocacy should be for everyone. Um, and we should be able to advocate for everyone, regardless of what they look like, what language they speak, how much money they have. The law, it needs to be open for everyone and anything. And I think it should become more accessible.
Oh, I'm a sucker for accessibility. That is amazing and awesome. Uh, I think is there is there anything else you would like to touch on? I don't know if yeah.
Mm, I don't think so. I think you asked some pretty good, hard questions.
Oh, thank you. I know. Is, uh, is there any? Okay, so thank you so much. But um, I'm trying to think if there's anything else you would like to highlight. With your bio, um, I like how you put in the that you like concerts, fashion, and like that's such a real and fun side to you. Um, that brought in some balance of like a serious conversation and like this hard conversation. Is there anything else you would like to share?
Um, I would just like to share that we need more Latinos in the legal field. Please apply, 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 apply. Please don't be afraid. Do not be afraid. That I think that's what keeps a lot of people back. In any aspect, is being afraid of failure. But it's better to fail to have never tried.
That I agree. I have a little thing of saying the worst that someone can say is kind of no, but like that no doesn't hold a lot of meaning once it happens. And I think you're speaking towards me a lot right now with like just applying to be a lawyer. I'm dabbling in the thought of becoming a lawyer, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, thank you so much for coming.
Well, thank you so much for having me and taking the time out of your day. I know you're very busy.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Yeah. So I think um, for, I guess, audience, be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook and tune into our next Spotlight conversation, which would be next Thursday, I believe. And yeah, thank you for tuning in.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you. You as well.
Bye
Bye.
bye.